All right, we're back live on Inappropriate Earl, episode 82, episode 81, fresh out of the oven with the lovely and talented Melissa Archer. Days of Our Lives and One Life to Live and many other things coming from her. So check that out if you haven't. And I've been getting a lot of requests for my Night of Champions review. And thank God for the WWE Network. $9 is about what that thing was worth. I don't know who. You can't even buy pay-per-views anymore on DirecTV. You have to go WWE Network. So that's the times are changing. And as always, I have the great Jordan Lee with me to break it down.
Oh, dude, these motherfuckers really hit a soft spot for me on this one.
This might be a record appearance, fifth or sixth appearance.
Hey, but when it's good, it's good. You bring it back, you know.
Yeah. So let's just briefly review the rest of the matches. It started out with
Ryback.
Well, I mean, on the pre-show, it was the
oh, right.
Let me see, the Cosmic Wasteland, which is Stardust and the Ascension. They defeated Neville and the Lucha Dragons. I don't think anyone cares about anyone. They're starting Neville at the bottom, I guess.
Dude, you know what? I'm really liking Stardust. I really do. There's something about it, they're not giving him anybody to work with, really. But as far as the character development, the guy's really interesting.
I mean, I like that he's like kind of like the evil Gold Dust.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Joker almost.
And he's a great wrestler. I mean, who cares about actual wrestling?
And maybe it's just because the rest of the talent is just so fucking mediocre that anybody that's halfway interesting shines.
And I know Neville's was big in NXT, and he's young, but
fucking boring.
There's a reason this wasn't even on the pay-per-view card. I mean, if you couldn't get on this pay-per-view card, you better think about a new career. And then this was an awful card. His first match on the main card, Kevin Owens defeated Ryback.
Fucking loved it.
Raking his eyes.
Only wrestler that I'm really feeling right now as far as the WWE goes. He's really the only one that I'm like, yep, I buy him. I love where he's going, and I love his potential. The guy creates moves in every match that I've never seen anybody else do.
Oh, he's great. I mean, I actually like that he's kind of pudgy and it's not like some muscle-bound gorilla.
Well, I don't know if I ever told... I think I told you, when I used to go to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, like the independent circuit, like in 2006, and he was the champion of that. He went by Kevin Steen, and he was... I mean, we're talking in a venue that held maybe 80 people. He was the best wrestler you could ever heckle because he'd talk back, he'd get angry, he'd get pissed off. He really is the Kevin Owens character, man. So it's like, it's cool to see him make that jump.
He's kind of like, who was it? I think Batista, when I was sitting front row at Raw at Staples Center, I yelled out faggot at the top of my lungs. And he got right in my face and poked my chest and said, "Takes one to know one, pal."
That's awesome,
yeah, it was great.
dude.
I had a buddy who used to be the head of the box office at Staples Center. So anytime there was a Monday Night Raw, I would get to sit in the front row. So I'd be on TV the whole night.
That's hilarious. I'd love to watch some of those.
The only one I remember, the only other match I remember was, I think it was Kane's wedding, maybe, or something. Yeah, it was Kane's wedding, and they had Tajiri bring out Poontang Pie. And The Rock came out, and I think Billy and Chuck were still a tag team.
Oh, fuck, man.
Those are the good old days of the homophobic angles.
So basically, we have the Kevin Owens match, and you could have just fucking shut it off right there, and you would have been fine.
Although I did like the next match, Dolph Ziggler and Rusev with Summer Rae, but I don't know who's had worse luck with women, me or Rusev.
Yeah. Hey, how many more matches can we have Rusev lose by his woman interfering and accidentally costing him the match? What is that, 4 or 5 in a row now?
They should probably tag me up with Rusev and call us the cunts.
Well, dude, what happened to Dolph Ziggler? Took his last girl. She was nowhere to be found. What happened there?
I think she got a legitimate injury a couple weeks ago. I think it's the wrestling fans will know it was something with her ankle. And
we're not there to watch her ankle, Earl. We're there to watch the tits.
But, I mean, she can't walk. She can't get those big bombers out to the crowd. And I'm assuming she was in a match with Seth Rollins and got hurt. Jesus Christ, man! Can that guy work any fucking stiffer?
Dude, I mean, I love Dolph, but he's like almost like the nice Rick Rude is how I would kind of characterize him, just people that don't know who he is. But man, it's just his match is just, there's something about him that just, there's no energy to him. They tag him up or they have him go against these guys that are complete opposites of his style, and then the match just drags and fucking drags.
Yeah, they should have like Ziggler with like either Kevin Owens or like someone who can move.
Yeah. Maybe. Bring in Samoa Joe. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, they got to get
Finn Balor, somebody like that.
Yeah, I mean, Finn Balor's not even on this card. I mean, I know it's Night of Champions, but I mean, Ryback is like a slower moving Goldberg, and I'm a Jew, and I don't like to talk bad about my people, but you know,
especially on a holiday.
Yeah, I mean, you happy Yom Kippur to all you Jews out there.
Fasting your life away.
So, and then next we had the Dudley Boys. It's Bubba Ray and Devon defeated New Day.
The minstrel show. I mean, come on, dude. That's Jesus Christ.
Bathroom break part of the show.
That, I mean, they've got a hype man out there. New Day. I mean, it's everything that's. I mean, it's pretty much like a 1980s hip hop group like Guy or somebody like that, New Edition, with a hype man that stands out there blowing a trombone.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not the tag team divisions. It's not good when you have to bring in the Dudley Boys to spruce it up. I mean, why not bring in Sags and Knobs?
Yeah, well, dude, and we love. I mean, I like the Dudley Boys, but once again, you're gonna, as we'll get to later, they just can't let any of these fucking guys succeed. They bring them in just to fucking bury them. I mean, they had a pin going down 1, 2, and on the 3 count, trombone guy with the fucking red cornrows jumps in and ends the match, interferes in the match. The match is over. Jesus Christ, as if we didn't see that coming. That was 80% of the decisions on these things are interferences and fucking disqualifications.
And they don't even have I don't even think they did the tables. We didn't even get
they did at the end. After it was over, they apparently, okay, so here's what happened.
I fell asleep on the couch during this match.
New Day, here's what they were talking about. New Day all week had been on Twitter starting a petition calling it Save the Tables. And they were saying that the tables were in jeopardy as long as the Dudley Boys were there, so they didn't want any tables involved in this match. Then once the match was over and the disqualification happened, what do you think New Day did? They went under the fucking mat and they pulled out tables. They brought them up on there, and then the Dudley Boys ended up turning around and they put the trombone guy through the table. I mean, we knew that was going to happen. It's just typical, predictable WWE shit. What they should have done was have the Dudley Boys chase him back to the back and then crush him on a table instead of just typical, predictable bullshit that they always do.
I mean, outside of the Ascension, no one cares about them. The tag team division's a little limp. It's like I said, if you have to bring back the Dudley Boys to spruce it up, you got a big problem.
Dude, you have to bring back Jericho to bring it back, then you got a problem.
Yeah, but Jericho, he's a great wrestler, but he's got too many things going on outside of wrestling. I mean, why would you want to wrestle when you can host a show on ABC, or like, why not? You're gonna break your fucking
front in a
back.
band. He's doing pretty much everything.
Got a podcast that's very successful. He could not wrestle again, and he's fine. But
was that the next match, or was it the Divas next?
The next match was Charlotte with Paige and Becky Lynch defeating Nikki Bella, which was a big deal because
longest reigning champion or whatever.
Nikki Bella, I think it was 301 days, and Charlotte, she looks just like her dad, which is not good if you're a girl.
Well, here's the problem with that: they're embarrassing Ric Flair. They bring him out there every time she wrestles, and dude, he turns into a fucking crybaby. He cries constantly, and it's just, that's not what you want to see the Nature Boy do. They have him participating in these these behind the scenes, quote unquote behind the scenes conversations that are on camera, and he can't even get his words out. He's jumbling over his words. And when did Ric Flair ever have a problem saying, where are we going to go party tonight in Houston? And he couldn't even get that out. He's a crying mess. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, I love seeing him, but only seeing him, no talking anymore.
Well, I don't know what's worse. I don't know whose hairline is worse. His hairline, Sting's hairline, or Tom Flores, the old coach of the Raiders. I saw him on some TV show today as, I don't know, ESPN or something. Jesus Christ, just shave your head, man.
Dude, I stopped over at the 7-Eleven on the way here, and I saw a dead ringer for Captain Lou Albano all the way down to the captain's hat.
Oh, really? Well, it's probably him. So, for you, and the women just don't get any reaction in the crowd. I think
no, the guys don't care.
They got to ditch the women wrestling. And I mean, I know they're not, but just get
why they
valets.
won't?
You got to get the valets back.
Right, but the reason that they're not going to do it is because so many people love that TV show.
Total Divas.
Oh man, I meet so many girls on sets and shit that tell me, "Oh, I've never watched wrestling, but I love watching Total Divas." So as long as that's a thing, as long as they can get women on board with that, they're gonna keep that shit around.
But it's the worst acting ever. I mean,
they don't connect. None of the moves look like they're actually doing them for the most part.
Total Divas. I mean, it's just like the worst overacting. It makes Gene Simmons' Family Jewels seem real.
And you're a fan.
I'm a huge Gene fan. We bonded recently, but but it's a hit. But anything can be a hit on E. I mean, you could just put a glass of water in the middle of a room, put a camera on it, and he would...
Dude, I think they have. I think they've tried that one.
Give it a primetime show. So that's fifth match on the card, and then we get into the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Braun Strowman, who's the fucking monster.
God damn, he's a fucking beast.
Yeah, he's a big guy, and
he's gonna be a star.
Yeah,
he'll break out of that group.
I like
soon
Luke
enough.
Harper though. It's something about him. He's really good.
There's something I like about all three of them, but I don't like them together. I can't tell you what it is, and that's another one that I feel like Bray Wyatt.
They buried him.
They do. I mean, that guy just, for some reason, they do not give him any opportunity to shine. And he's got a good thing going on. I'd like to see, my thing is I want to see him and Owens.
I like his dad, Mike Rotundo.
Yeah.
Erwin R. Scheist.
Yeah, IRS, yeah. But that match was another one where it's like they're trying to force Roman Reigns down our throat with this Shield kind of gathering, and nobody really cares. And they brought Jericho out to be their secret partner, and Jericho ends up basically tagging himself in against the 400-pound monster and ends up losing the match.
I don't like that finishing move Strowman uses. It's like, I mean, I'm sure he could actually choke you out. He's so
big. Like where he throws your arm over one side and I don't know. It's a weird bear hug kind of thing.
Like a bear hug sleeper, but he probably could do it. So
and then they end it with Jericho standing up and basically doing a hair flip almost, as though he's not going to respond as to why he tagged himself in and lost, and he just storms out, and then the crowd boos him and whatever, almost making him a heel.
I mean, well, he can be heel or face, but he's a better heel, I think.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I don't think people were that knocked out of the park by...
I don't think they cared about that match at all.
You needed to bring in someone who hasn't been on the air in a while. I mean, you got Jericho... I guess Tough Enough is over. That was a horrible show.
I didn't even see who won it, but
not one of those people will be in the business in a year.
Yeah, I remember seeing Jim Ross making a comment on his Twitter saying when the black dude, I forget what his name was, he goes, when he got eliminated, I don't see who they could possibly think that they're going to pick out of this group, and I think there were 4 or 5 left at that point. Well,
that black dude, I mean, he wasn't that big. He wasn't that fast. He was just there. I mean, if he was white, you would have been get rid of this guy.
Yeah, no personality to any of them. Or
I mean,
who won the crocodile guy? Did he win?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Okay,
I tuned out after Hulk
I only
Hogan.
saw the only one I ever saw was the very first one where they are picking the people, and the crocodile guy doesn't make it, but then somebody else ends up getting injured the first day, and they put the crocodile guy in, and then I saw he was in the final 4.
I tuned out when they had the crocodile guy naked in the jacuzzi. I'm like, all right, if this is already...
And that's saying something, because that's usually what pulls you in. Not saying you're gay, but any kind of nudity, you're at least going to watch.
First of all, I've gotten more pussy than most of my listeners combined. I just don't brag about it.
Uh-huh.
You ask around at the Comedy Store.
I've seen. I've seen the roving hands.
Well, roving feet, hands, and these girls
zippers.
These fucking girls all leave me because they think the grass is greener. Well, guess what? It's shit brown.
That's right, you fucking apes.
You're not going to find a guy with a bigger dick, money, and is funny. You might find a guy with a bigger dick, but he won't be funny.
He won't have a shoe collection like Earl has.
Nope. I'm in a paid-off condo in West Hollywood. I got a paid-off car, so I can afford to take you fucking gold diggers out for money. But you keep fucking the guys you're fucking.
That's fine.
Works out for you most of the time, right? So there you have that.
Yeah, so we can bypass that horseshit match.
So I just don't think anyone cared about the storyline. I mean, they're trying to do. It was a total kind of a rip off of the Bash at the Beach, with Luger and Sting.
Yeah, totally.
Partner, and then, but at the end of the day, it was like, oh my God, Hulk! It's finally WCW was doing something right. It's like, oh my God, Hulk Hogan. No one saw that coming, but it really. It's either going to be Jericho or Orton.
Yeah, and that's dude, I mean, you're absolutely right. Before the match started, I remember walking around my apartment going, just show Randy Orton. That's who it's going to fucking be. Or like maybe they'll throw a real curveball, maybe The Undertaker, but other than that, I mean, we knew who,
or even a guy.
They only got 12 guys they're pushing right now, so it's pretty easy to figure out who they're going to use.
Or repackage Jack Swagger or someone like that. It's like, oh my God, what's this guy's doing? I mean, it's just. So now let's get to the meat of the bones, the bone of the meat.
The Rollins matches.
The Rollins.
Cena.
Yeah, Cena defeated Seth Rollins. You figured
Good
Rollins.
match.
Yeah, you figured he was going to lose one of the two matches. I really thought Sting would win, and then Sheamus would cash in. It was a good match. I mean, they bumped for each other. Cena, gets a lot of shit for his wigger shtick.
He's a great wrestler, man. The more I watch him, the more I go. He's one of the few on there that really deserves a push because he really makes shit believable. He really puts his full body into it. Like the guy doesn't. He takes bumps and gives bumps. I like that about it. Most of those guys don't.
But he's a tough guy to market because the kids love him, the adults hate him. So
I think that's part of the charm, though. That's like kids never want to like the same person that their parents like. I think that's a little bit of the and he kind of feeds off of the Cena suck stuff. It doesn't bother him.
But I mean, it's like that's when you have half the crowd like the parents are the one buying the shirts. For the
I just keep waiting for him to go heel. I keep waiting for the Bret Hart move.
They kind of did it a few times with him already. I don't know. Just but I don't think they will because then the kids won't want to buy shirts.
Right.
Like, I don't want to buy the bad guy shirts. The adults will probably start buying the shirts. I just bought a Sting shirt on WWE. I bought a Sting shirt, a mask, and gloves.
I noticed. I saw you wearing the mask.
It's fucking cocksuckers.
What about the jacket? You're not going to get the big jacket?
I need
a big trench coat. Yeah.
If any fans out there know of a good leather shop, a duster. I need a duster. But
and a baseball bat.
Yeah, and a bat.
Is that what you're doing? Because if that's what you're doing for Halloween, I'll let you in on what I'm doing for Halloween.
Well, I was going to do it for my next roast battle if I ever do like another wrestler. I'm trying to do roast battle with Dolph Ziggler. He's never in town on Tuesdays, but I would come out like Sting.
That'd be a good one.
I'd have the Sting army. I'd go on WWE.com again. I'd buy like 10 Sting masks because they're only like $9.
Yeah, I figured.
It is a good deal. I mean, for $9.
I can't believe I don't have my Sting shirt. I had an original when he first went Crow.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't. I didn't really.
I cut the sleeves off, but I remember having it.
I didn't really buy WCW shirts back then. I wish I would have. Now,
I bought that one, and I bought the very first Hulk Hogan, that like airbrushed one where he was wearing the Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah, I had that.
And like he was flexing on the. I had that one and gave it to a buddy. I wish I had that. Those are like $100, $200 shirts now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had about maybe 30 wrestling shirts, and I gave them to some retarded kid I knew. Like literally, he was retarded, but he was a wrestling fan.
Is he a comic?
Yeah, I think he is. It's real hard to understand. But then I just bought in the last couple months. Well, I bought some Piper shirts, of course.
Yeah.
And then I bought 2 Kamala shirts, which are awesome shirts. One is just Kamala's face in the middle.
Yeah,
it's a brown shirt, and I get the weirdest looks at the gym when I wear it. Like people are like, "What the fuck?" And then the other shirt is like the 2 moons and the star. No,
like his belly?
Yeah. So it's the 2 stars.
They should have drew the tits on there too.
The moon on the belly. But it's just a brown shirt, so it looks like you're almost tattooed. And I get even weirder looks with that shirt.
Why do you have a banana on your stomach?
Yeah, whatever that thing was. I mean,
it was a moon, but he said, did you ever hear that story where he went up to Jerry Lawler after like 2 or 3 years of doing that character? He goes, Mr. Lawler, why do you always paint this banana on my stomach? He goes, that's a moon. He goes, oh, I thought you were making fun of me for this whole time. Like,
well, he probably was. So.
Well, who knows?
He's also on what is he on? Kamala. He's on YouTube talking about his diabetes, and he's like, I didn't think the diabetes was bad for me. Well, he might not have tanked, but he should have thanked. But that's a catch Kamala.
Yeah,
he's. His book, Kamala Speaks, is really good. Actually,
I'm gonna start it actually this week.
It's the best wrestling book I've ever read because I don't know if he.
How many have you read?
Well, a lot. I've been.
Do you have Piper's?
I don't. Actually.
I don't have his. I know he found like a box of them and was selling them on his website at one point, and I missed them.
I read a couple books about Benoit, Jericho's book, which was really good.
I have Hogan's book,
but
signed by him and Jimmy Hart at the Barnes and Noble.
Well, I'd like to get the revised edition of Hogan's book. Can imagine what that would.
Well, that was I liked the Cena Rollins match, and it was an interesting finish where Rollins decides he's not going to do the next match, grabs the title, and tries to walk away. And Cena confronts him at the ramp, and then ends up like basically stone cold stunning him on the ground, didn't he?
See, I thought Sting was going to come out and push him, or there'd be some like.
I thought Sting would just appear from off to the side, like from underneath the ring or something. It would be waiting in the middle of the ring when Seth Rollins turned around or something. Nope, nothing. Yeah. Nothing like that.
Well, I mean, Sting needed his energy to get to the hospital after his fucking match.
Dude, and just to show how little respect they have for Sting, I don't know how many matches I've ever watched where the entire match, the one of the wrestlers' ring attire was just laying on the outside on the ground. Usually somebody goes and picks that up and puts it off to the side. They just left that around for for them to walk all over his jacket, Sting's jacket.
Oh, it's awful.
Just no respect. Absolutely no respect for the guy.
But I'll give the hair and makeup people props. His hair was on,
The hair was on.
A couple minutes.
The makeup I still got a problem with. They're still leaving a good inch or an inch and a half around the hairline to where it's just bald skin. Take it to the hairline. I don't care if it looks...
Maybe he doesn't. I mean, I'll give them this. Maybe he doesn't want it that way. Maybe
I know.
Then you got to yell at Sting. I mean,
that's who I'm yelling at.
I don't know if
he needs to do it that far, and he needs to get rid of the fucking soul patch and just let the white makeup go down because there's something about that just doesn't. Yeah, there's something about it. I don't like that.
Either the hair, like the dooley curls in the back.
Yeah, the slicking it back isn't working. He needs to part it in the middle again.
Well, he needs to go surfer Sting.
Dude, did you see? That's one of the things I posted on his page. I'm like, I don't give a shit what you do, but I hope the very last match you ever have, you come out as Surfer Sting again, just for one time. Neon tights, flat top.
Well, he's not going to be able to have a flat top with that hairline. I mean, they're going to have to do some real fucking work, but. Get to that match. I mean, Sting looked a little slow. I got to be honest with you.
He was a little slow
before the injury. He did not. He didn't look horrible, but But I think the first problem was when Rollins threw him into the Spanish announcing table, and I think he hit his head on the monitor.
Yeah, he did. His head hit off that monitor.
And that can't feel good.
Well, dude, why the fuck are they using these monitors still? Everybody else in every other sport is using an iPad, and the WWE is using a 1970s WKRP monitor that basically is the size of a cinder block. Wouldn't you say? Isn't it that pretty much that size?
I mean, that's a real monitor.
That's what I mean. Like, why are they still using that shit?
I guess for the announcers to like.
Okay, an iPad would work fine.
Oh, I know.
Anything.
I mean, killer MacBook.
Yeah, I mean, they're using the oldest possible looking monitor, obviously for the guys to use. But
I mean, those look like the parking brakes for 747.
You don't throw a 56-year-old man through a table like that on those.
Well,
things.
You do, but you got to protect him.
Yeah, that
Rollins looks a little. He works very stiff.
Yeah, dude, he's very snug. I mean, everybody it seems like is getting hurt when they wrestle that guy.
Cena blasted got his nose fucking around his neck.
Yeah,
and then he that's not the only thing. Then Rollins gave him the buckle buster, and
dude,
twice. The first one I thought looked a little stiff.
Yeah.
Then the second one, I think Sting tried to readjust how he was going to land because the first one was so fucking stiff.
Yeah, dude, his leg was wobbling when he came out of that one. I knew it was bad.
I knew when he ducked under a clothesline and then he
just
buckled.
fell. Yeah.
I mean, and I thought, when they brought the ring doctor, and I'm like, they've never done that before.
Yeah.
This could be an angle, though. I mean,
yeah. For those of you that didn't see it, literally in the middle of the match, Sting goes to do an underneath a clothesline, and he just drops to the ground. And they call a ring, basically like in MMA, they call a ring doctor in to talk to him, which has never, ever happened. And so we knew it was bad.
But you don't know if that's an angle. You don't know. I mean, I'm still expecting Owen Hart to drop down.
Yeah, especially the way they want to bury this guy. It wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to make him look old and withered. But then the match continues. They sanction it to continue. And you think, well, the only reason it would continue is so Sting can win, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Know if he was able to do one move. I mean,
right. So he puts him. Sting gets him in a scorpion, or he puts him in the scorpion deathlock, and he can't even really apply pressure. He couldn't really. He was bent over when he had it on, and then Seth Rollins breaks out of that, which is like, well, what's the point of having the guy keep putting him in moves if he's going to keep breaking out of him? And basically, Sting ends up putting him in another one, and he turns it over, pins him, and it's fucking over. Like, what the fuck is the point of bringing this guy back to job?
I mean, well, first of all, it's like totally devalues his history when you have Rollins have this great match with Cena. He's got to be a little tired, and then he's treating Sting like he's a fucking luchador. I mean, Rey Mysterio treated that guy in Tijuana better,
and he killed him.
Well, his new finishing move is called the 187. I mean,
well,
so
here's what I don't understand. The fucking face of Night of the Champions was Sting.
I know.
That was the face of it. Why would they I mean, that was just, if that was planned, if that was an actual planned where it was Seth Rollins was going to win it, I don't get it. Now, if it was changed when Sting realized that he was really hurt, and he's like, hey, I can't win this night because I'm not going to be able to, I may not ever wrestle again. If he knew that and they changed it then, okay. But like I texted you, what they should have done was Sting should have won. If he feels like he has to retire, then he comes out on Raw and he says, I wanted to leave on top, drops the title in the middle of the mat. Everybody goes crazy and he's done. Like, that's it.
Well, I mean, they're going to wrestle the Undertaker at 32.
But who cares at this point?
They won't care if it's in a wheelchair, and maybe Kamala could do a run-in the wheelchair. But people would care if they did it right.
They've broken his value down so much now. It's like the people have seen him lose twice for no real reason. I mean, what was the whole point of having a 2-week angle of him stealing the statue and getting the statue of Seth Rollins destroyed just for it to be a one match, like a one and done?
0-2 on pay-per-views now.
What's he going to take on Cena next? Or, like they'll let him have the U.S. title or something? Like
one match on Raw that they didn't even let go under 5 minutes with Big Show before they did some wonky run in, and then they turned it into a tag match and with Cena, and it's just the worst booking possible.
And then then they announced that Sting's okay. So at the end of that match, like you pretty much called, once the match was over, Sheamus comes running in, tries to cash in, and before he can get his briefcase turned in, Kane comes out and equalizes everybody. Why the fuck are they pushing Kane so much?
Nobody cares about Kane.
I never gave a fuck about Kane when he was wrestling on a regular basis. He's never been the Undertaker.
Yeah, but I did mark out for him when he was Dr. Isaac Yankem.
Okay, well, I actually watched one of those matches the other night. It was Ultimate Warrior versus Isaac Yankem. But yeah, I mean, okay there, but dude, I've never had any interest in the Kane character, and they keep bringing him back as though he's Hulk Hogan now. Well, he's in every pay-per-view.
I lost interest in the Kane character when they had
Corporate Kane?
No, when they had that whole Triple H angle of the necrophilia drawing him into the match with Triple H. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I mean, every angle that you can think of, this fucking company has tried at this point.
Well, they've done the fag stuff, and my favorite part of
the old fucking old lady stuff.
I love
and even that one was mixed race.
Oh yeah, let's not get into the racial fucking angles they have. I don't know what has worse acting in it. Daytime car insurance commercials, or when The Rock was a Muslim in the Nation of Domination.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. He pretty much took that thing over in like 3 weeks.
Or Muhammad Hassan, who was played like a Al Qaeda like character. And the black angles are just
what about when everybody has known Iron Sheik for 20 years and they bring him back as Colonel Adnan as though nobody would ever notice he was an Iraqi?
Yeah, they should have gotten the guy from AWA, Colonel De Beers.
Yeah.
He would had that Raleigh fingers mustache.
Or Frenchie.
Yeah, or Adnan. No, there was another era.
General Adnan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he was a creeper.
There's this Global Stars Federation Wrestling, which is at the Sportatorium in Dallas, and it airs on some wacky channel on DirecTV. And I started taping.
Is that the one that Jeff Jarrett owns now?
No. It lasted like 2 seasons and like 91, 92, and I only watch it because I'm a big Gary Hart fan, and he was.
Oh yeah.
But the best wrestling promo ever is Gary Hart is he's doing a promo for Killer Brooks, and then he's in like an oil field parking lot, and he's spoken jive, my brothers, and all of a sudden this black guy in a Cadillac pulls up, not realizing they're filming something, and it wasn't part of the shtick. And Gary Hart turns around and goes, "Yo, what it be, my man? I'm filming something right now." And then the black guy just takes off. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
But it's weird. It was like only around for like 2 years, and then they went out of business, of course, because I think they brought in the Von Erichs, and then there was no money, and then the Von Erichs were like, "I'm out." So
WWE was becoming a super force at that point. So WWF. Yeah. I mean,
they weren't gonna. No one was gonna compete with them. Although WCW and Georgia World Class Championship Wrestling certainly held their own.
Right.
I don't think they were ever trying to compete with the WWE until Ted Turner came in and said, "I want to be in the wrestling business." So, and now there's TNA. I don't even know what channel TNA is on.
I don't think anybody does.
But they are on. They're still on, I think. But
dude, I would like to check out that one that Chavo Guerrero was telling you that he's on.
Why? That's on El Rey Network.
Well, you know what? I didn't realize. I was telling somebody about that, and they said, "Oh yeah, Robert Rodriguez owns that." The director,
Lucha Underground.
Yeah. That's Robert Rodriguez's baby. So he said it's actually like done like a movie or something. Or like
you've got like high production value. I mean, for the money that they put into it. I mean, you could tell it's almost like looks like John Carpenter's Escape from New York. Like obviously they knew what they were doing, but there were not a lot of money in the budget, so it's real guerrilla camera shooting. I'm surprised they have permits to film the fucking show. And Johnny Mundo, who I defeated at Roast Battle, the great John Morrison, he's in it. He's one of the stars. I think they just I don't know if Albert Del Rio is in that, but he was either going to be in it or he's thinking about it.
He should, man. He's got no future in the WWE, that's for sure.
Well, he slapped some guy who basically called him a beaner. So, or asked him, he said to him, pick up, you know why he got fired, right?
No, why?
He slapped some, the head marketing guy of Twitter was like back there in catering, and I guess the catering area was like kind of messy, and he looked at Del Rio and said, clean it up. Like basically saying, "Hey, Beaner boy, pick it up," and Del Rio was like slapped him. So
didn't know he was a wrestler.
Oh, he knew. I mean, how could you be ahead of the WWE's Twitter campaign and not know who Alberto Del Rio is?
Oh, I thought you were saying he was like a marketing guy for Twitter.
No, he did the WWE's Twitter marketing.
Okay.
So, but
yeah, that's fucked up.
Del Rio's a legit fighter. Like he fought Mirko Cro Cop in MMA. Like,
well, Andy was a superstar. And there's a level of respect that I mean,
I wouldn't mouth off to a guy who actually is competing in MMA legit. I mean, Mirko Cro Cop's a legend. So
what the fuck do they do now? They've set it up. I mean, that was maybe the biggest waste of a pay-per-view that no storylines have come out of it, other than the Divas.
I mean, I guess you could have Reigns and Jericho, maybe, or
dude, nobody cares about Roman Reigns, and they're just gonna push that guy to death.
He just needs a good. Any wrestler can be a star if given the right writing and whatnot.
Well, dude, I know for a fact he takes acting classes, and I know where he takes them, and he's just not very good. I mean, I happen to know, in fact, that the WWE has an acting teacher that they take on the road to work with these guys.
They should fire that guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know who. Because a girl I have done acting with has told me, like, yeah, that guy Roman Reigns has like popped into my class to like sit in on classes and stuff when he's in town, and she's like, yeah, they're just not very good.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: most of these acting teachers should take acting lessons. I mean,
right?
These fucking people. I've never heard of one. I mean, my sister went to one. He was the top, might still be the top class, the D.L. Brown, Joanne.
D.Lo Brown?
Yeah, D.Lo Brown was teaching how to shake your ass off the top rope. It was Brown Baron. I forgot the exact name of it, but D.L. Brown played the car stereo salesman in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay.
But he had like De Niro gave the graduation speech.
Oh, okay.
It was the top class. And my sister took it. And Joanne Baron, I think, was... she had a couple bit roles in like Valley Girl and couple other. It's like, why would I take? It's like if I want to learn how to hit a baseball, I'm going to ask Tony Gwynn, even though he's dead. But I'm not going to ask some dude, playing in the Comedy Store softball league.
Yeah.
So I don't. De Niro's teaching a class. I'll take it. Seinfeld's teaching a class on comedy. I'll take it. If I'm teaching a class on what not to do in comedy, I'd buy it.
I'll take it.
So you can't teach. You take a guy like Roman Reigns.
Well, he just can't talk. That's the thing. You can't make your brain just put together great dialogue. Roddy Piper was he was the king of that shit. If you watch him, he never stumbled. He never fumbled. He just could go for it. It's just not for everybody. That's why they put managers with him. But for some reason, Roman Reigns, they won't put a manager with him. Wheel Bobby Heenan out there, for God's sakes.
Well, you don't want to
Jimmy
do that.
Hart.
I mean, Bobby Heenan's not looking good.
What about Slick? Can't we get Slick back in? Virgil.
Virgil would do it.
He's looking for that fuck you money.
He needs the money. That's
dude.
For sure.
Do you want any fans out there? Go out and follow Virgil on Twitter. It's worth it. It's a laugh. He superimposes his face over Santa Claus's face. He posts all kinds of crazy shit.
Well, I know who's doing it. It's not exactly him, but let's not
Lonely Virgil.
let's not ruin the myth. But please book Virgil. I saw him. He was judge at Roast Battle in New York.
Was he really?
Yeah, I saw a picture of him. There's 2 roast battles.
You sure it was him? It wasn't just a black guy? Okay.
No, it was just it might have been some homeless guy. Maybe it was an angry black guy, the guy from Howard Stern's show.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, I've been watching some of those Daniel Carver roast from Howard Stern on YouTube. They're so funny. You know the KKK guy?
Yeah, I haven't seen those, but I've went down the rabbit hole more than a few times. I'm watching Beetlejuice highlights and shit like that. Hank the Angry Dwarf.
Well, the best was
the Sheik and
his rebuttals. So they gave, it's like any roast.
Oh yeah,
Guys would shit on this racist KKK guy, and then they'd have him rebut. It was so funny. He's like, I don't want to call you. Some black guy was like, well, I can't call you Mister, but Daniel Carver was like, yeah, you can. He was quick with the zingers.
Yeah.
The guy was a complete moron. I mean, I'm kidding when I say that stuff. This guy lives it.
Yeah.
So, but you can't, like someone like Roman Reigns, you can't teach him how to act. He's either good at it or he's not.
Right.
And then, these fucking teachers, if I had an acting teacher on my couch right now, they'd say you can teach him technique. But what good's what good is technique when you can't act? It's like if I took a basketball class on how to jump, but I've got no vertical ability, what good's taking the class? So, the WWE, please, their John Cena movies were horrible. The one they put DiBiase's kid was horrible. The Marine 7. Hulk Hogan's probably the best actor out of anyone they've ever had.
No, Roddy Piper, dude.
Yeah, but he did his own thing. That wasn't They Live, was it?
Oh, right. That wasn't
a WWE.
Yeah.
movie.
None of Piper's movies. None of them
successful.
were. Hell Comes to Frogtown. I was watching that, dude. Hey, I want to give a plug here. I want to give a plug to Pro Wrestlers versus the Zombies, the Roddy Piper movie,
right,
with Hacksaw. My friend and I watched that about 3 weeks ago. If you love Roddy Piper, that is maybe one of the best movies you can ever watch.
We all do.
He's a fucking hero in it. He's cool as shit. He's the Roddy that we all know.
Let's go.
He's the hero.
Through the cast of this Pro Wrestler. Of course, you had Roddy Piper, in a big stretch playing himself.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle, Matt Hardy, Jim Duggan, Shane Douglas.
Oh, dude, he's terrible.
Sugar Shane Douglas.
Shane Douglas, they give him a lot of like really meaningful dialogue in this thing, and he's like he's supposed to be the superstar of it, even though Roddy really is, and Shane Douglas is just not pulling his weight as far as the acting chops, dude. But you'll appreciate this movie, Earl. You of all people would love it.
Well, Shane Douglas was good when he was improv, his hatred on the ECW, but it would give him scripted stuff. It's like, you might as well have Kamala read Shakespeare. Piper was good because he was good. And you could tell he never had an acting class, like in They Live. That was just him.
Yeah.
So, all you buffoons out there coming out here to Hollywood to make it, don't take those acting classes. They're fucking scams, just like the comedy classes and all that bullshit. You just ask yourself before you come out here on the tuna boat and your JOJ just off the jet, do you have any fucking talent to come out here?
Yeah.
I do. That's why I'm out here.
Plus if you have talent, taking those classes will help you. It will give you a formula to help kind of present it. But if you have no talent, no amount of formula, no amount of any kind of guidance is going to help you.
Yeah.
Be real with yourself, the way Shane Douglas should have been in Pro Wrestlers versus the Zombies.
Yeah, so WWE should hire, new writers, not acting
No, here's what they
coaches.
should do. They should go to the Comedy Store and they should hire a couple of the comedians there and turn them into wrestlers, because those guys can actually talk.
Well, I mean, they need new writers. They clearly they just have yes men to Triple H and Stephanie and Vince. They should hire
The booking
me, man.
is garbage. The booking is absolute garbage.
But the bookers kiss ass. They need a guy who doesn't kiss ass and get in there and go, "That's not a good idea." I'm really the perfect guy.
Yeah, you and Hinchcliffe together would be perfect because you guys have completely different opinions on your favorite types of wrestlers, but you guys both get the business.
Well, they need just anyone who's not going to just, oh, that's a great idea. Hey, let's bring in Sting and then Triple H, you should beat him. I would, if I was in that room, I'm like, listen, you guys love money. Who doesn't? It makes more sense for Sting to be Triple H first match in.
Sell some merch.
Then that way every kid in there at that stadium, there's a substantial amount who don't know who Sting is, are going to be that Monday. Who's that guy? Let's get the Sting DVDs. Or at least even on YouTube, they would go on YouTube. And when you can monetize videos on YouTube, I'm sure WWE does.
They know how to get them banned, so I'm sure they know how to monetize them.
But but then when Triple H wins, it's like, oh, I don't want to buy that Sting guy's T-shirts or DVDs. He's just some, fucking maroon. So they should have. It all Line of Champions debacle started at WrestleMania last year. You should have had him win and then build him up and then have him lose to Rollins. Now he's 0-2 in cards. He fucking got a 3-minute match on Raw with Big Show before they turned it into a tag match. So it's buffoonery. They needed someone in there to say, no, that's not gonna make Sting look good. Triple H's character after WrestleMania is the same whether he wins or loses, so have him lose.
Yeah, they're not building Triple H up to anything. He's not going to be, he's not trying to make himself champion again. He's not trying to make himself he's not putting himself over for any reason. I still have never figured out what the whole point of that was. Unless it was just here, this is going to be your show of loyalty to the company. Is you're going to take a bullet for the team is what I thought that was. It's like we're going to put you through a little initiation process to see if you're really to get the WCW out of you. You're going to job to Triple H, and then we'll start putting you on something.
But that makes no sense.
I agree, but
it's its first fucking match. You got to have him win the first match because then people are invested in who he is. He was doomed after that match. Nothing they could have done. Even if he beats Rollins, they would have had Sheamus do the cash in, or the next night on Raw, Sheamus would have cashed in. Have him have the fucking belt for 24 hours, and then they should have built him up, and then have him lose to the Undertaker.
Yeah,
and that's fine. Everyone's cool. He
gets
gets a couple wins.
Yeah, then the Undertaker's the champion one last time, probably.
Yeah, and then
Seth Rollins can beat him for the championship again if they want to go that route, or Lesnar. They seem to really want to give Lesnar the championship quite a bit.
Well, what I would have done at Night of Champions is you have Sting. Well, the injury happened, so probably wouldn't have worked out. But
yeah, dude, that's the other thing. They didn't even fucking mention him on Raw the next night. There's no, we hope Sting's okay. There's no update on him. They don't even mention him. He was supposed to come out and he was supposed to start Raw. Did you see that?
No.
Online, they were saying that originally they were saying, his appearance tonight's going to be canceled, and then they said no, he's going to be making an extremely important announcement. He's going to be kicking off Raw, and then about halfway through the day, then all of a sudden the reports changed, and they said Sting's going to fly home and he's not going to be at Raw tonight. And then when the show started, they made no mention of him at all.
I know they're awful. I pay $9 a month. I'll give them that. The network is a good deal for $9.
The network is worth it for watching the old shit, but the new shit, they're killing it. They're killing my interest in it because the only interest I have is Sting and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and there's only so many times you can. They do a good job with NXT. But it's like Samoa Joe should have been.
He should have been there 5 years ago.
And they should bring in AJ Styles. That guy's a maniac.
He's another one I used to watch in the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla days. But all three of those guys, Samoa Joe, Steen, all those guys, they were all there.
I saw AJ Styles the other night because Josh Barnett, who's got a big fight this Saturday. friend of Inappropriate Earl, is headlining UFC Japan this Saturday, where he's fighting Big Baby Roy Nelson, Josh Barnett, ex-UFC heavyweight champ, and then got popped for roids, but we all make mistakes. And so he's got a big fight. He does the announcing.
Okay.
With, I think, Mauro Ranallo, or ex Strike Force announcer. But AJ Styles had this match the other night in All Japan. It was like, my God, this guy's amazing. And but for some reason WWE doesn't like him, and they'll probably bring him in when he's 56 and bury the guy.
Well, they got to wait for JBL to get his time in.
Well, JBL's the worst. I mean,
dude, he really is the worst. He's boring as fuck. But
I mean, he only got all
those guys that they have on there are fucking boring. Other than the King,
the new black guys.
Well, let's get this out there right now. The fucking 4 douchebags that they have doing the pre-show, and that includes Booker T because he's up there. Those guys, the woman, the black guy, the guy with the neck tattoo, and Booker T, it's ridiculous. It's fucking stupid. They don't ever say anything that's good. They're up there entertaining themselves. They got Mountain Dew bottles they never even crack the top on. Not a sip's taken out of them. It's a clear, just advertising, just
who the fuck is drinking Mountain Dew at 8 in the evening except for me?
And you wouldn't even drink that shit.
I do every now and then when I'm tired. It's got just the amount of caffeine in it.
I figured you'd go for an energy drink or a dick pill.
Well, I do the Diet Mountain Dew because it's got a little bit of energy, a little bit of caffeine in it. And then but it's just and even Jerry Lawler's shtick is old. The woohoo, the fucking Affliction sparkled shirts.
Yeah, but I like some of his he has some kind of funny one-liners every once in a while.
But it's dude, you're fucking 60 years old. Enough with the Affliction.
I
sparkled
agree.
Shirts and get some moisturizer, man. You look like a fucking.
He looks sun-dried. Yeah.
You look like a fucking piece of Jack-o'-Lynx jerky.
He looks like somebody that gets a facial every day and their skin just never heals back up.
Yeah, well, according to Kamala, he gave a few facials, but I really implore everyone to go to www.kamalaspeaks.com, buy a book. He autographs it. Believe me, he's got the time,
and he's still got the hands.
Yeah, thank God. No feet, Jesus Christ, no legs,
Yeah,
that's and I've been watching some old Kamala tapes. That guy was really fucking agile.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, we joke about him, but he could move in the ring. He really could.
He had this spinning
they brought him over to WCW when Hogan signed up over there.
Yeah, but it didn't. They brought him. He went to ECW for a second. I think he did. I think in his book he said he had one match with TNA. He was very agile for kind of
350 or 400-pound giant.
He would do this spinning heel kick that would get pretty high up, but. The
loincloth.
Yeah. But please buy his book. He tells some great stories.
My favorite's when he told on Piper's podcast where he's saying the Andre the Giant stuff and how Andre would get a little rough with him. And he goes, one day I pulled a gun out on him in the locker room and I said, you better fucking watch yourself. And he said, I'm sorry, boss. I don't think sometimes. Well, you better start thinking.
Well, I think it was because Andre the Giant was calling. He was pretty liberal with his use of the N word.
Yeah. It seems like that was what was going on. If I remember,
it's crazy that even though Andre the Giant was a big guy,
you heard Hogan's rationale for why he was saying it.
Well, I don't necessarily.
Hey, that's just something we always said.
Well, I don't disagree with Hogan. I just wouldn't say it into a microphone.
Well, he didn't know the microphone was on.
Well, I guess I just did it. But,
yeah.
And I do owe some guy a book out there in Twitterland. I asked, I had a Inappropriate Earl trivia quiz. What 2 episodes were the N-word used? And he guessed it right. He knew it right away, too.
You didn't mail him his books yet?
No, I was too lazy. So if you're ever in L.A., dude, you're listening to this, I'll give you a tour of the Skakel compound and your Kamala Speaks book, but I'm not going to give you my Twin Towers shirt, Akeem and Big Boss. I threw away all my wrestling shirts, gave them to the retarded kid, but I'm not throwing away my Kamala shirts, any of my Piper shirts, or the Twin Towers shirt. Go on eBay, though.
Well, they're all brand new for one thing.
Yeah, but that Twin Tower shirt is the best. I wore it at my gym the other night. And
on 9/11?
Yeah, I actually did. I swear to God. I wore my twin, and I wasn't even thinking. I was just, because I
just in the mood for some reason.
No, I just
never forgetting.
Grabbed. Oh, this is a funny shirt to wear to the gym, and then I'm on the elliptical for my usual thing, and I look up, and they show a CNN, the towers going down, and then I'm like, fuck, it's 9/11.
Then you imagine the Akeem the African Dream going down.
My brother
getting tackled down.
Doing that hand thing. So, well, that's I don't even know what pay-per-view's next. Doesn't really matter.
Who the fuck cares? I mean, at this point, I'm done with those sons of bitches. Until it's WrestleMania or maybe Survivor Series. Do they still do that? If they do Survivor Series, then that's probably coming up around Thanksgiving. But
they should do a Survivor Series where Hogan has to fight every black wrestler on the roster. Or save that for Royal Rumble. It'll be a special Royal Rumble. They should do that for laughs. That would, that would be the first idea I would pitch Triple H.
Triple H, if you're out there listening right now,
come on, Paul. You butchered Sting. I'm telling you, how crazy that would be if they had a Royal Rumble where it's Hulk Hogan against Mark Henry, New Day.
I got a bit of gossip for you.
So work on it, Triple H, you pig.
They mentioned that China was restrained and escorted out of Roddy Piper's funeral.
Yeah,
did you hear about this?
I know 4 people who were there.
Okay, you heard. Okay, yeah, they just said that they thought that she was trying to film something for her documentary, or she was trying to get a moment alone with Triple H for her documentary.
She hugged him for 20 seconds and then said, "I'm sorry," or something. I know 4 people who were there.
Okay.
I was invited, but I was too cheap to buy the ticket. I mean, if I wouldn't have bought so many Piper shirts, I probably would have had some fucking money to.
If you fucking scumbags that listen to this podcast would have made up some contributions to the Earl Skakel Foundation.
Well, this podcast cost me a couple grand in the gear, and I got to get the fucking guy. Everyone's like, "Where's the next podcast? Where's the next podcast?" It ain't easy doing this, folks. If you think you can do a better job, fucking do it.
Not every guest lives right next door to Earl. Just some of them.
Thank God Melissa lived right next. Literally, episode 81, Melissa Archer. World-renowned soap actress, very cool chick,
very hot.
She's beautiful, married to a huge guy, so I'll leave it at that.
They always are.
But he's real cool. He's a super nice guy, and I mean, how could you not be happy waking up next to Melissa every day?
Yeah.
So it takes a while to get people, but then I got coming up next week, I got Mr. Belding.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun one, dude. You gotta do me a favor. I've had a crush on
Mr. Belding.
No, on Lisa Turtle forever. You gotta ask if he ever saw any signs of the kind of like dementia or bipolar.
Who's Lisa Turtle?
She's Lark Voorhees, the black chick that was on there.
Oh yeah.
She has a massive problem now that she doesn't own up to. But if you watch any interviews she does, you can tell there's something definitely disconnected in there.
Well, you got to work with Screech for 7 years. Your mind would probably be gone too.
well, that's why, dude. I mean, that was literally my favorite show growing up. So if you need any questions or if you need anything, I used to buy all those books from like the book fair, like all the behind the scenes shit on Saved by the Bell. And even then, they would mention. I remember having one where they broke down like their schedule for the week and how they did the show and how they got prepared and what their class regiment was. And they said that they wouldn't name him, but they said there's only one member of the cast that is ever a disciplinary problem, and they phrased it in a different way, but I always assumed it was Slater, and now we know it was Screech. He was apparently a real asshole. Even then, a girl I know even said when she was like 8 years old, or no, she was like 11 years old. She was on a float for like the Rose Bowl, and the cast of Saved by the Bell was on there, and he kept trying to grab her tits, and she's like, and I was 11.
Well, I mean, I've been there, so But I met him at Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling. Somehow someone roped me into going to that.
Jesus.
It was at some warehouse in
That's surprising.
Compton. It was great though. I mean,
I'm sure. Where was it at? Was it on Hollywood and Highland?
No, dude, it was like at some warehouse in Compton, and I was walking around, and this guy in a golf cart comes up to me and says, "Hey, you need a ride to the set?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I get in, not knowing who it was.
Jerking you off,
dude. I looked that over, and it was Bischoff. So I was in a golf cart with Bischoff, just pounding him with Warrior questions.
Oh, awesome!
And then just by chance, a few months later, I'm doing this comedy show on a Sunday night and on the 3rd Street Promenade in some theater, and it was pretty full, but
probably West Side Comedy Club.
No, it was another place, and I started doing this joke I used to do about how I met Sting, and
did you?
No, but I lied in the joke, and
okay.
I built it up like I was talking about the singer from the Police.
Oh, okay.
For like 6-7 minutes. He was so nice, and I was a big fan as a kid, and just really setting it up. And then in the joke, I think I had it set up where I was telling a friend, like you and I are talking right now. And then the friend says, "Hey, did he sing Every Breath You Take?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Sting, the bass player from the Police." I'm like, "I'm talking about Steve Borden, you dumb fuck." And Bischoff was in the back of the room.
Oh, okay.
I forget why he was there, but he said, "I like your Sting joke." I'm like, "Oh shit, it's Bischoff." I'm like, "Hey, you should do that Billy and Chuck angle again." He was the minister in the Billy and Chuck.
Yeah, I know, man.
Now Bischoff was a good actor, because if you go on YouTube and look up the Billy and Chuck gay wedding angle, you could see him doing the Parkinson's shake, like, he was going like that.
Yeah.
So this is episode 82. Jordan, where can people find you on Twitter? Although you've been on the show 6 times, remind my fan base.
Jordan the Lion at Twitter, at Instagram.
And Facebook, are you just Jordan Lee?
Yep, I am.
But are there like a million Jordan Lees?
Yeah, there are. But I mean, if you know what I look like, you'll find me. I'm around. I'm kind of a loner, so I don't always accept friend requests. Nothing personal, but if I don't know you, or if you have a lot of we have friends in common and they're people I don't really like that much, then I'm probably not going to accept you. But if you communicate with me on Twitter, I will communicate back. I'm good about Twitter.
But just say on Facebook, if that's your mode, just say you're friends with Earl. Send him a message, because I hate people who just send me, I got these 3 cunts, girl comics who I've never met before, sent me friend requests tonight. No, nothing. Like, just trying to pad their numbers because they probably see my dick pic.
Yeah, and, probably.
It's like, just say, "Hey, Earl, it's me. We met at the Comedy Store," or something. You fucking conniving twats. Apparently it's obvious that I've had some bad breakups recently. I don't know why people would gather that, but
you and Rusev, man.
I'm telling you, man, maybe I should send him out on the town in LA.
Maybe you should go to Uruguay or wherever the fuck he's from.
I think he's actually from Bulgaria.
I think he is, dude, because he's got that tattoo on the arm, and that's kind of a move. That's kind of a long stretch to not have.
Not really. I mean, you watch Ink Master, you get these idiots getting these major back pieces for the finale, and they complain when it's not done right. Well, you're getting a free fucking tattoo. Don't go on a reality show with ink artists who aren't fucking that great.
Yeah, right.
And then complain about the product. So, and then they have this new show called Ink Master Redemption, where you can come back and you get the same artist that fucked up your tattoo again. He's not good enough to put the tattoo on in the first place.
So he has to fix it for it, or he gets to do a cover up for you? Is that how it works? Or?
Yeah. But he wasn't good enough to put the fucking thing on in the first place. Now you're going to have the same guy or girl do a redo?
Dude, at that point, I think I'd let Boone do what he does to his shirts to my tattoo at that point,
Boone Shakalaka, legendary LA open micer who steals things and then sells them at the Comedy Store
Allegedly.
for a dollar.
Not anymore, dude. He tried to charge me $3 for a fucking Kenny Rogers shirt the other day.
Well, that's because he's got a new black dude who comes up to the store selling athletic jerseys for like $100, and sometimes he gets it. So Boone's got competition now, but I'm not ending the podcast talking about Boone's marketing strategy. So Inappropriate Earl, I guess I am ending it. I got to head to the Comedy Store and go up in front of 3 people, but I like the spots, so thank you, Adam Each. It's more than what I got in 15 years, so that ain't a complaint.
Good night, Lois.
Yeah, Lois is knocked out. I walked around for about literally 4 hours today. She is dead. Lois is the greatest dog ever. So, Inappropriate Earl, SoundCloud, on iTunes. Please leave a review if you haven't on iTunes. It helps me get featured. If I have like 100 reviews. It's a big podcast world out there. So
and if you have any guests that you'd like Earl to have on.
You drive him over here.
Yeah, connect Earl with these people. Get him over here. Yeah, because Ron Jeremy isn't going to be able to stay awake for an entire podcast. We found out.
Well, he can't.
Guy's narcoleptic. He was falling asleep off and on in the Comedy Store, sitting up.
But what a great guest that would be. He could talk about.
Dude, I don't know, man.
But dude, his story. Even the other day,
I mean,
that's what you want.
Yeah. I mean,
even the other day when Don, the great Don Barris, asked him about mine and Don's favorite movie, 52 Pickup.
Yeah.
He just asked him a basic question, and Ron Jeremy gave like a 5-minute answer, and it was like, that's the ideal podcast guest.
Not only gave an answer, but that transitioned into his entire IMDb of basically like, oh yeah, and then I did this guy's movie, and then I did this movie, and then he had me back for this and this and this, and then I worked with this guy, and then
that's like ideal. I don't like.
If you can get a word in edgewise,
but I don't want to on a show like tonight. It's different because we're talking about a particular event. But like when I interview a celebrity like him, I want to just ask. Well, like Melissa was great. Tell us what it was like getting on Days of Our Lives, and then bam, I went to New York. It was like a 10-minute answer. It was perfect. So, but someone like Ron Jeremy, it's like, tell us about 52 Pickups. So, I worked with John Frankenheimer, who's the legendary director, and 52 Pickup. If you have not seen that movie,
I need to see it. I haven't seen it,
dude. The bad guy in that movie, he's the #1 guest I want on my podcast. I don't know how well it would do. You talk about acting, and like some guys have it, some girls have it, some don't. John Glover, if you watch, and he's a great actor. He's been in a lot of things, but his best role was a 52 Pickup, where he played Alan Ramey, the sleazy porno dealer. That's good acting. I mean, you will not, and he's doing some scenes with Anne Margaret, Roy Scheider, of course, Clarence Williams III, great character actor, Robert Trebor. It's how this movie wasn't a little bigger is beyond me. Just as good as Fatal Attraction. It's kind of a similar storyline, and just one succeeded, one didn't. But John Frankenheimer directed it. Elmore Leonard novel. So the pedigree was like, of course, it was a Golden Globus movie in the mid '80s. Those guys, Delta Force and all that shit. So maybe it was that. But please, I don't get $1. But if anyone knows John Glover, I've reached out through various channels. But it's on my bucket list to have John Glover on that couch. Call me Sport. That was his big line in the movie. Like, so long, Sport. So watch 52 Pickup and Inappropriate Earl. Let's make it bigger. I do it for the fans. It ain't for the fucking money, because there is no money. So it ain't for the pussy. Maybe the next. Here's the next Inappropriate Earl trivia. If you want a Kamala book and you're in Los Angeles, local pickup only. Local pickup only.
You can't even get to the post office, man.
This show ain't costing me any more fucking money. You crazy, dude?
How far away do you live from the post office, Earl?
Walk to it.
That's what I thought.
I'm not going to spend.
Because I'm pretty sure it's literally 2 blocks away or 1 block away, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what,
it's on the next street over. Now that I think about it,
they moved it. Now they're turning that into a Walgreens. Here's the deal: if you want your prize, that first dude who guessed the 2 episodes where the N-word,
drive to LA and pick it up.
You got to send me a self-stamped. It's a mailer.
Self-addressed stamped envelopes.
Tweet me privately, DM me, and I will give you my home address.
Call him the N-word.
Right, but he got the answers right. It was the Carlos Herrera episode and the Jeremy Paul episode. Yeah. Here's the next. This might create some controversy. Here's the next Inappropriate Earl trivia quiz. Name all the inappropriate guests that I have had sex with. So that's the next Inappropriate Earl trivia quiz. You're not gonna, and don't. You get one guess. Don't have some class about it.
For once in your lives.
And for once in your lives, that is
some decorum here. Earl is a person.
And so are these ladies,
sort of.
And
I've seen them.
So that's the trivia quiz. I'm not gonna. No hints will be given. You get one guess, so don't make 58 tweets in looking up every female guest. Going, I wonder who we did. Here, and there were no.
And
male
don't
guests.
tweet the women asking, "Did you fuck Earl after the podcast or before the podcast?" It's not fair.
Yeah, because they're not gonna. Definitely not gonna answer your fucking tweets. So tweet out the show, favorite, retweet it. That's gets the numbers that way. Get groundswell. I've been 82 episodes in. I'm still asking for help, you fucking maroons. So let's get this featured on iTunes so I can get better guests. Also coming next week, Mr. Belding and legendary NHL enforcer, the great Kip Brennan, who now is he's one of the good stories. Unfortunately, in the NHL this week, we had another suicide by another fighter, Todd Ewan, who I remember meeting at the Great Western Forum. I shook his hand and I looked at his hands, and it was frightening how big his hands were and just so swollen from hitting helmets. And he was only a year older than me, man, 48 years old, Todd Ewan. And he wrote some great children's books that were actually really good. If you have kids, I forget the name of them, but Google Todd Ewan children's books, and but Kip Brennan, he's actually got this great new cell phone business. I mean, he's one of the few there was life after hockey, and he prepared for it. But I have like 12 of his jerseys. So what I'm going to do when he comes in, I'm going to have them all on the couch.
Good job.
His Sudbury Wolves jersey when he was a teenager to his last NHL jersey. So I'm excited to have Kip Brennan. He used to come to my comedy shows at the Friars Club. It was great to see the Kings and Ducks be in the same room. The Friars Club had all these. There was new ownership. The Friars Club in New York had fucking disassociated themselves with the Friars Club out here because it was a new guy, and he would hire whores to work this place. So it's a packed comedy show with whores running around everywhere. So the Kings and Ducks would come here if they didn't have a game Thursday nights. Started by the great Ari David, who's like some right wing. He's a right winger now.
Is the Friars Club in LA still open?
I don't think it is anymore.
I know it was over there, like. Kind of like Wilshire and Santa Monica.
Yeah, that's where it was. And the Thursday nights was the comedy show. And for about probably a year and a half to 2 years, it was the hottest comedy show in the country. I mean, David he's crazy, but he had these, Ian Bagg, Brett Ernst, Sebastian, Tripoli, and he would always have me there when the Kings and Ducks were there. And Joffrey Lupul would show up, Zenon Konopka, I think Jason LaBarbera, the Kings and Ducks goalie, would show up. Kip Brennan was there. George Peros was there. Wow. He's, just recently retired. But Kip Brennan, I can't wait to have him there because he was one of the last true enforcers of the game.
Better the numbers are.
Look forward to that. And hopefully you got some potential
ASAP,
big rock and roll guests
in the featured section.
Got to get him down.
Which will make it really, really easier for me to get guests. So if you guys can help me out a little bit, I'll help you out big time down the road. Maybe get someone like, I don't know, David Lee Roth or Gene Simmons, like I've mentioned 50 times on this podcast. Maybe Paul Stanley, he's done Joe Rogan's podcast. He's done Jericho's podcast. And now maybe he'll go, oh, this guy Earl seems pretty popular. Bam. Then we'll break down Vinnie Vincent's career and we'll get into those Desmond Child songs that should have been included on the Kiss box set. So I'm sure right now if Paul got a tweet from me, which he has, he's like, who the fuck is Earl Skakel? I tell you what, Paul, if you're listening, and you probably aren't, but if someone who knows Paul is listening, and they probably are, tell him I'm the guy who buys the fucking album still. So let's keep it real, Paul. Come on, Inappropriate Earl. And guys, we'll be back next week. Dennis Haskins, Mr. Belding, Kip Brennan, NHL enforcer. See ya. Yeah.